Welcome back, everyone. So, you know that feeling where you set these massive expectations for yourself, totally hyped up, only to completely fall off track a few days later? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, today's explainer is exactly what you need. We're unpacking a really fascinating blueprint for lasting personal growth, inspired by a powerful cinematic concept from Creovate Growth titled Stop Waiting for Motivation. The core premise? It's brilliantly simple, but honestly, profoundly difficult to master. If you only work on yourself when you feel motivated, you are literally going to spend your whole life just starting over. So let's dive right in and look at why relying on motivation is basically a trap, and how we can map out a much better path.
Section 1. The Motivation Trap.
Okay, so we all know that initial rush of motivation, right? You watch an inspiring video, you hear that perfect song, or you read a quote that just clicks, and suddenly, boom, you've got this massive rush of energy. In that exact moment, you are totally ready to change your life. You feel absolutely unstoppable. But here's the critical flaw the source material points out. That feeling, it's completely temporary. Because when the reality of, say, a tired Tuesday morning hits, everything changes. Imagine it. It's early, the room is pitch black, that universally terrible 6 a.m. alarm has gone off for the third time, and you're still in bed, just exhausted. The only light is the blue glow of your phone as you endlessly scroll. Sound familiar? This repetitive, unmotivated routine is where almost all of us get caught. It's the illusion of readiness, completely shattering.
And that brings us to a crucial takeaway. Motivation does not equal discipline. When you find yourself stuck in bed scrolling like that, the problem isn't actually that you're lazy. I know we tend to beat ourselves up, but that's a huge misconception. The real problem is that you've built your progress and your expectations around a fleeting feeling. And when that feeling inevitably vanishes, your drive to take action just vanishes right along with it.
Section 2. Built around a feeling.
Because let's be real, everything feels incredibly easy on day one. But what happens 3 days into a new goal? Reality sets in. There's this heavy, almost suffocating atmosphere where you're sitting on the edge of the bed in a dimly lit room, just completely stuck. The inspiration is totally gone. And you know what? This is the exact moment where most people simply throw in the towel and quit. You wake up tired. You don't feel like going to the gym. You definitely don't feel like working. You become completely stagnant because you're sitting around waiting for a feeling that just isn't coming back today. It's the ultimate visual embodiment of the cycle of starting and quitting. So to break that cycle, we absolutely have to understand this fundamental contrast. On one side, we have feelings. Now, feelings change every single day based on your sleep, your stress levels, your environment, or honestly, just random chance. But on the other side, we have discipline, and discipline does not have to change. It is unyielding. The most successful people out there don't wake up every morning feeling unstoppable. They really don't. They deal with the exact same exhaustion and lack of motivation as the rest of us. The only difference is they rely on discipline instead of waiting around for the right feeling.
Section 3. Transition to discipline. So how do we actually transition out of those dark, stuck mornings and start making real progress? Well, the shift is entirely mental. Successful individuals simply stop negotiating with themselves. They don't have this internal debate about whether they're in the mood to work out or study. When that little voice starts making excuses, they shut it down with 3 simple words: do it anyway. That is the mandate. This is the exact turning point where you choose the long-term reward over the immediate comfort of staying in your warm bed. You acknowledge that you're tired, you acknowledge you'd rather be doing literally anything else, and then you just do it anyway.
Let's break down what this actually looks like in real life. Because honestly, it is rarely glamorous. It's putting on your training clothes and going to the gym when your body feels like lead. It's the deliberate, physical act of opening up your laptop and starting your work instead of picking up your phone for one more scroll. It's sitting alone in a quiet room, studying, taking notes, reading, when absolutely nobody is watching or there to praise you for it. It's realistic, it's understated, and it requires consistent action despite a total lack of desire.
Section 4. Keep your promises. You see, discipline isn't about being absolutely perfect. It's really not about having this flawless routine where you never ever slip up. It is entirely about keeping the promises you make to yourself. Think about it. Think about how often we keep promises to our bosses, our friends, our family. But the second things become uncomfortable for us personally, we give ourselves an out. Keeping your promises means shutting down those escape routes. When the work gets hard, you don't look for an excuse to quit, you remember the promise you made. To make this work, we really need a massive mindset shift. You have to stop waking up and asking your brain, hey, do I feel motivated today? Because let's face it, half the time the answer is going to be a hard no. Instead, you need to pivot to a much better question. What did I decide to do? You made a decision yesterday, or maybe a week ago, about who you want to be. Your feelings today are completely irrelevant to that past decision. You just execute the plan. To help execute that plan, the source outlines 3 tangible steps. First, make your goals smaller. Seriously, don't try to change your entire life in one single day. Just focus on the very next immediate task. Second, make your schedule crystal clear so there's zero ambiguity about what you should be doing. And third, and this one is a real game changer, remove distractions before you actually need the willpower to fight them. Like deliberately put your phone in another room before you even sit down to study. You have to force your own focus. Section 5. Build undeniable evidence.
Now, as you begin to string these small actions together, something pretty incredible happens. You enter this phase of compounding returns. Think of it kind of like a cinematic montage of your own life. Waking up early, hitting the gym, studying, prepping healthy food. Repeating these seemingly mundane daily actions over and over again builds undeniable evidence. Every single time you complete a task when you didn't want to, it's like laying down another solid brick. Every completed workout, every hour of focused studying, it becomes literal, tangible proof of your new identity.
Let's look at exactly what kind of evidence you're building here. First, you're building evidence of discipline, showing yourself you can absolutely do hard things. You're also building evidence of self-trust, proving to your own brain that when you say you're going to do something, you actually follow through. And ultimately, you are building evidence of personal transformation. Eventually, through all this consistency, discipline stops feeling like something you have to actively force. It just becomes exactly who you are.
Section 6. Do it again tomorrow. Which brings us to the final stage. Notice the transformation from the dark stagnation we talked about at the beginning of this explainer, sitting on the floor in the shadows, feeling completely stuck, to a totally different reality. We're talking sunrise, warm, natural lighting, a calm morning walk. This isn't about wildly celebrating, it's about feeling calm, confident, and totally transformed. This is what it looks like to finally step out of the motivation trap and into a truly disciplined identity. But listen, the work doesn't just stop because you've reached a good place. The final, stark mandate for achieving lasting personal growth is right here. Do it again tomorrow. It is a relentless, continuous process. You don't just arrive at discipline and then retire. You wake up and you execute those decisions you've made over and over and over again. We're going to wrap up today's explainer with a truly fantastic quote directly from the source material. Motivation can start the journey, but discipline is what finishes it. So the question you have to ask yourself right now is this. Will you wait to feel ready, or will you just begin? Because you really don't need to feel ready to take that first step. You just need to begin. Take this framework, apply it to your day, and stop waiting for motivation. Keep those promises to yourself. Until next time, stay focused and keep learning.